If you're going to play the game, motherfucker. If you want to sniff salt to fucking deadlift 40 kilo, fucking go for it. Like, you know, it doesn't matter how fucking... I even got into...
This is British Strongman Podcast with Josh Lancaster and Shane Jerman. Strongman programming and technical excellence for everyone. Boom. When you're doing a comp and you don't really have a shot at winning it, you're just doing it there for experience. Do you still need to get in the zone mentally?
If you're going to play the game, motherfucker. Yes. Let's turn up fucking lifting. No, fucking... That's like saying, "Oh, am I strong enough to get hyped? Am I strong enough to enjoy this properly? Am I strong enough to experience this to the fullest?" Of course, you fucking are. Anyone can do it. If you want to sniff salt to fucking deadlift 40 kilo, fucking go for it. Like, you know, it doesn't matter how strong you are or where you're going to place in a competition. Plus, also, you know, there might be events that you can scalp people on, and you know, just because there's no chance of you winning the comp doesn't mean you can't have a standout performance somewhere. You know, not all events are decided on maximal strength. They can be, you could perfect something and do a Conan. I've seen people that like smash Conan's walk or something, you know, and win that event. They get in some crazy ass zone and you're like, wow, I didn't expect that. You know, you can easily be one of those guys, but if you go in there like a fucking lettuce leaf, you ain't going to do nothing.
Yeah. The question that's on my mind is, do you not get in the zone when you're training? Like I get in the zone every single rep of every single set. Otherwise, it just feels awful. Like
and it's fun. It's quite fun.
Yeah, definitely. But you're a massive advocate of this. You say that a lot of people will push the kind of top end sets or the new rule stuff or whatever, and then they'll go to their accessories and just like, you know, like a lot of people refer to their accessories as fluff and what they'll just like half-arse it kind of thing. Whereas you're doing bicep curl 3 sets of 20, like you're in the zone for that, Shane, aren't you?
Yeah, it's like, I hate that fucking word fluff, by the way, because fluff to me just means junk volume. So if it's fluff, don't do it. There's no point.
Yeah.
You know, but
you might as well just recover.
Yeah, you may as well just recover. Yeah, you're just adding some stuff to recover. You don't need. But in the competition day, personally though, this question to me is mind blowing because when that whistle goes, that's a zone whistle. Like whether I want to or not, I'm going absolutely mental. You know what I mean? I could tell myself, "Oh, just do 3 reps, Shane." But no, you know, once that whistle goes, I'm going to be like, "Oh, this feels fun," you know, and then I'm going to keep going. So I think that you would get in the zone anyway, my friend. But I would say, don't even think about that as a question.
Yeah, and I suppose talking from experience as well, like I've done comps this year where I've been aiming to win, and they're going there right. I'm gonna win. Like I'm just focused on winning and getting in that. Obviously, the getting in the zone mentality, just you don't even have to think about it. It's second nature. Yeah. But then I've done other comps where I'm just there to make the numbers up and I'm just doing it there for fun. Like an example, for instance, was like I did England's Strongest Man under 105s this year. And there was like, I think 17 or something. And I'm just there just to make the numbers up and to find it fun. But if you see any footage of me on every single event, I'm doing it like my life depends on it. Like I'm trying to chuck myself under a max log. I'm failing. I've dived for the line on that truck pull and got run over, and then if it like even though it didn't really matter, I'm like kind of putting pressure on the referees afterwards, saying it's their mistake and I want to retake it. I'm putting my foot down. Let me go again. It didn't even matter.
Well, that comes down to the experience side, doesn't it? If you go into the competition for experience. Yeah. And to learn from it, what are you going to learn if you don't get in the zone and try hard and test all these things? Because what's going to happen is you're going to do loads of competitions for experience, but you're not going to care. And then you're going to go to the one you care, and you're going to be nervous. You're going to have this nervous energy, these jitters, this anxiety, and you're going to be like, "Oh, why have I got this?" Well, it's because you didn't, you know, get emotionally invested into the competitions that you've practiced with. So treat them all the same, and that's part of that nervous feeling, that little anxious voice going, oh, you know, that's kind of part of the fun for me, like getting over that and going in and performing.
But I suppose, speaking from experience, like it is something that I've got better at from, like, using that England Strongest Man as an example, under 105s. 3 years ago, I maybe wouldn't have had the confidence to, 3 or 4 years ago, I wouldn't have had the confidence to turn up to something like that, because I'd be thinking, well, what if people think I'm shit? Like, what if people think, oh, what's he doing there, or whatever? And I would, and I'd almost be trying, like, I'd be so, like, kind of distracted in my, like, by what other people might be thinking. And obviously that's something that I pride myself on, is that I can kind of get in the zone where I only care what I think. I'm only doing it for, like, I'm only doing it for me. Like, it doesn't matter if he thinks I'm good, bad, or indifferent, because I don't care about anybody's opinion. So yeah, I would say that it is something that you do kind of get better at. But we're going off the point here. Always get in the zone.
Yeah, you get better at that though, but you get better at it whether you were in the zone or not. So you may as well be in the zone.
What do you think's going to be the next trend? We'll both answer this. And what would you like to see as the next trend? What do you think will be the next trend first, Shane? And I'll tell you mine.
Maybe the Ukrainian deadlift is what I'm going to say.
Right.
The reason being is Clash Australia have that in a show. I've heard that Giants Live are potentially making some kind of piece of equipment like that, which then tends to lead on to next year's OSG. Maybe they'll get something there. It tends to be those style of events, those type of competitions that set the trend. You know what I mean? So I would say Ukrainian deadlift.
Cool. I think we're going to. I wouldn't surprise me if we see these sandbag Husafels like put into comps, because I feel like. Did you see the Rogue Invitational?
Yeah, you watched that. Yeah, the log was very good, wasn't it?
Yeah, I thought it was great. Oh yeah, Shane. That was the thing that I was going to. We'll do on the next episode, actually. You know, like do a reaction to that. Because I was going to do a video the other day. Like I was basically, in a nutshell, I watched a bit of the women's log, and I was massively impressed by the. But anyway, we'll do that another day. But yeah, I think the trend will be the Husafel sandbags, because I think Husafel is such a great event, but from a promoter standpoint, you can see why promoters don't put it in. Like I'm doing a comp in.
It does mess. It's an event that fucks up the floor and all. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But it's just more dangerous than it needs to be, isn't it? Like, if you will, like especially when it's for max distance. So I'm doing a comp in Norway, and it was meant to be in May, and it was meant to be 120 for distance Husafel, and I thought, oh, this is going to be brilliant. And then they've changed it to sandbag for kind of safety reasons or whatnot, which you can see.
Yeah, it's the training thing as well. The reason why I like a lot of these, because some people don't like the fact that there's these trends and events, whereas personally I do, because it allows people to purchase a piece of equipment and get a huge amount of value out of it, because they can utilize it for multiple competitions. And then next year, if there's another trend, they get that piece of equipment, and then they're building up their kind of strongman kit, without having to be like.
What would you like to see then?
Sorry?
What would you like to see?
What would I like to see? Well, personally, I'm a huge fan. And well, to be fair, there's one coming up in Northern's 105. I'm a huge fan of Conan's wheel. I think it's a cool event. I like Conan's. I also would like to see more medleys. I'm a big fan of death medleys. I don't think there's enough of them in strongman. So yeah, loads of carries, loads of drags, implementing different things as well. Like we have a lot of yoke runs, a lot of farmers runs. I haven't seen yoke farmers drag something like that for a while as an event, and I think that they're really cool. So I'd like to see some longer events like that going.
Yeah, I quite liked at the Rogue Invitational. They've done it 2 years in a row now. The yoke into log which logically you wouldn't kind of put them together. But it just, I think it's a great way of what was it? A 6-event comp. It's a great way of testing.
Unique. It's a unique test of strength because you can't wear. It's like usually people wear completely different kits for both. Yeah. So you've got to make your decision. Like obviously you're going to choose the flats, aren't you, for the yoke? But then you've got to log in flats. I think it's a cool test of strength. Really makes you have to make a decision as to what you're going to do.
I think something like that would be scalable for, like say Chaos putting their comps on. I think their events are brilliant because they run through so quickly because they structure and organize the events so they're always head to head. So it's just brilliant having being able to like direct clients to there and know that they're going to have a good experience. It's going to be done within a few hours. So a way that they could maybe integrate this kind of thing, but still keep it head to head, I think would be good. I can't think off my top of my head how to do it, but like say do like could be like farmers into a throwing bag for reps or something. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's something that opens the doors to a lot of fun events. Which the thing is, though, I've actually spoke to someone about this before, and a lot of people don't like that because they think it's like the conflicting events together. And I'm like, I really like that because that's the true test of strongman. Really, is having skills that you can apply and being able to quickly transition between skills to express strength in different ways.
Why don't we have 10 event comps or 8 event comps?
Well, they take too long.
Exactly. So what's a way to tackle that?
Yeah, pin them together.
You could put like if you had say a 5-event comp, but say even just 2 of them were like say one was yoke into log, the other was farmers into throwbag for reps, and you've got 7 events tested over 7 events there that in the same time essentially. But anyway, that's just an idea for promoters. I think it'd be cool. I was thinking the other day, Shane, just going off topic, it'd be cool to do like an invitational style comp, like me and you and our little network or whatever, have like just 10 people that are really good, put some prize money. We stream.
I really want to run comps, Josh. This is big on my to do. As soon as my apps, I think I said this to you, as soon as my app's at the point where I'm happy with it, I want to take the money and invest it in shows. It's really on my to do, but I don't know when the hell that's going to be. Maybe it's going to be like 2 years away. I don't fucking know. But I do think that a comp like that with unique events, good people, it'd be fucking class to watch.
I think it'd be mint to have like a comp running that me and you knew a lot about and commentate on it. I'd love to do it.
Yeah, because in the day, like the Rogue Invitational and stuff like that, it's not tied to anything, is it? You know what I mean? It's just like a show with prize money, good events, everyone's good. If you had that for the lightweight scene, fucking buzzing.
But that's what I thought was good about the Rogue was like I think Loz is doing it absolutely brilliantly, like his coverage and he had Brian Shaw on doing a bit with Brian Shaw, and like Brian Shaw's analysis was I thought were very good on some of the different events. I thought it was just brilliant, and it just provides context and makes you enjoy it. I've realised that since watching a bit of like Loz's like preview shows and stuff, like if I hadn't watched the Loz's preview show for the Rogue, I wouldn't have enjoyed it anywhere near as much. Like a lot of people will flick on, Rogue, or this comp's on, or who's competing, or who are these 3 I haven't heard that much of. But you get like a background on everybody, like without kind of much effort, and it just provides so much more value when you watch it. And that's the limitation with like live streams and stuff is the fact that you put a live stream on of a comp and just live stream it. People are like, oh yeah, it should be a live stream. We'll watch it. You wouldn't watch it because it'd just be boring with no context, no like overlays of like stuff that's going on, no commentary, no like. And I think it'd be really good. And maybe the maybe me and you could commentate the under-80s this next year, like England or whatever. But I don't think I'll do it.
Yeah, I'd love to do something like that, mate. We get like some kind of we're gonna have a live stream for the Englands again.
Say again.
There's going to be a live stream for the Englands.
Well, we'll do one.
Yeah.
We'll do this, and we could commentate it. And
that's
like,
sweet.
Because it's like it's a thing that I've always wanted to do, but I always get FOMO and then end up all the stuff that I know about, I end up competing. So it'd be good to do. Yeah, I'd love to do that, and I think we could add a lot of value to the listeners watching rather than it just being a live stream. Not getting underneath fully, assuming that we're talking a jerk here. But can you? In fact, he sent me a video that I'll get up in a moment. But can you answer it from a kind of like a high percentage push press perspective, and then I'll get the video and have a look at the jerk.
Well, this is a question that I need to, like I said, I need to see the video to answer it specifically.
Yeah.
But if it's is he split jerking or power jerking?
Split jerk.
Yeah. Well, maybe you're not splitting. Oh God, I'm spitting over. That's disgusting. Maybe you're not splitting long enough or deep enough. Maybe you're pussying out with the heavier weights, and a lot of people sometimes don't get their head through. They look back at the barbell because they're worried about you committing and coming through. So there could be quite a few reasons. But another thing I would say is, if you are still getting it, it is strongman. So it's not that important, really. Obviously, we want it to look pretty nice and snap to lockout, but as long as it's going 99% of the way, if you're pressing out that last little bit, who cares, really, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm going to put the video up because I think it'll bait a few people at this, because people might give him some stick for having, like say a weightlifter looking at this would be really concerned. But,
so he's just
like I said, he's made the lift. He's failed the lift and then he's made it. Yeah, because
basically you're just in the early stages of learning your split jerk here. So when you do your higher percent work, just focus on, for strongman, getting it like we said before, Josh. Really, let's say it's getting closer to competition or 1 rep max. Just work with what you've got. But when it's in your lighter load technique work, you need to split longer on the balls of your back feet and deeper split as well. If you're not too confident in your split position, then maybe doing some split stance strict press is a nice way to.
Oh yeah, I like that for building stability in the split. Brilliant.
Yeah, it just gets you used to how long you need to split and gets you used to where you want to be with your load placement as well, because you look a little bit front foot heavy on that one. The knee goes over the toe instead of being in line with the heel, and then you shift the weight back as your heel goes down the back leg. So yeah, there's quite a bit going on there, but really it's just skill acquisition is what you need there. Yeah.
So I think a key thing that you said here is that is like working at high percentages, and I think that if you like say you got like let's talk about say you went for you failed a 115 snatch, Shane. And people would be oh you missed it because of this, you failed it for you need to do that. Whereas actually when you fail it, like the higher I can't make my point anyway. But I think it's better to analyze technique if you want technique feedback, like kind of in the 75 to 80% range, because you should be executing that with kind of the desired optimal technique.
Any lighter than that, it's going to look prettier than what it probably is. Any heavier, there's going to be more breakdown. So that's like a nice percentage area to work within. Like if you can't hit, if it starts to be like minor press outs at 75%, you know that every 5% there's going to be more press out, really, because things are going to be breaking down more. But overall, for Mr. Diabetic Dan, I would be saying to, learn about where you need to land in your split. So you start with I would say to start with a split stance strict press when you're warming up, so that you can learn how long and where the load placement in your feet should be on your splits as a warm-up. Then for someone like him, a nice fix I like is to use a half stance split jerk. So because he's not splitting long enough, if he starts half split and then goes to the full split, he's going to eliminate that pathway that he's learned to go in here. He's going to start there and go here. Then he can bring that to a full split. And you can use that as a training block or phase, but you could also just use it as a warm-up strategy, that you just do those two things before you go to your split jerks and apply it over you want.
So I think this is going to be a really good thing for us to do in future. Like have some videos here that we analyze, because I look like we both get really good results with people, and but we see things very, very differently. Like you've picked on a couple of things there that I can see now you've pointed it out, but they weren't the things that I was initially drawn to. The thing that I was initially drawn to was the dip and drive. I can see that the dip and drive, that the rack position's pretty good, but as he dips, he's dipping ever so slightly forward, and then it's exaggerated even more as he drives up, and it's chasing the bar forward. So if we took it exactly from the side, you'd see the plates rolling forward ever so slightly, just subtly as he starts the drive. The dip's actually pretty good, but as he starts to drive, the bar's rolling. But the other thing, if you slow mode this, I don't know how to slow mo this yet, with Instagram stuff. But the big thing screaming out to me, like even if he got like really good at the strict presses in splits and improved his footwork and got really confident with the footwork, I feel like the timing between the transition, there's not enough gap between the finishing the dip and drive and actually transitioning into the split. It's like a one movement. It's like he's trying to kind of jump. He's trying to jump and split out before he's actually whilst he's driving up. Whereas I think what people should do who are jerking, kind of think of two separate movements. So finish the drive as explosively as you can, where you're literally trying to heave the bar, heave your torso into the bar to get the bar up as high as we can before you bring your arms into play. And then once you've finished the drive, then move. So almost thinking of it as two movements. So you can see he's doing it. It's almost like a split press this, rather than a dip and drive into a jerk or a jerk recovery, if that makes sense. So thinking of it as two movements and finishing the drive and then into the jerk recovery. So adding like a little complex. One of my favorite exercises for teaching you how to dip and drive brilliantly is push pressing really well, and actually push pressing. So even doing like a little complex, like say you could even do this as a little complex, like push press and then a jerk, push press and then a jerk, push press. You're focusing on really driving through the legs and being as explosive through your extension, and then you're trying to take that same extension into because basically what he'd see here, if he. What we ideally want to do is we want to achieve the position where you're on your toes, your knees your ankles locked out, your knees locked out, your hips are locked out. But if we took the freeze frame and took a picture, the bar should still be connected with his torso. Whereas with what Dan's doing here, before he's fully extended his ankles, knees, and hips, he's already tried to jump underneath the bar. Does that make sense, Shane?
Yeah. I see. Yeah, I 100% agree.
Yeah. So I think treating it as two different movements, finishing that drive and then exploding with the legs, and really exaggerate. And with an empty bar, you can almost kind of really, really, really exaggerate this. So doing stuff like Shane said for the footwork, and then adding in like what you could do, like you could take Shane's drill, what he said about like the short, I don't know what you call them, like short jerk or whatever, where you start in a split stance, short stance, and then you practice reaching with that front foot. So great for front footwork. But start with the barbell on your head or like a dowel. So mimic the position where you finish the dip and drive. Stand on your tippy toes and then finish the jerk. So basically, you're practicing that transition of you're practicing Shane's thing of improving that foot, like the longer footwork, but you're also practicing it from a position where you finish the dip and drive, and you're not practicing not going early.